What's my motivation? What is our culture? How do you define culture?
I think it's a series of systems, values, beliefs
Series of
shared
systems, values.
by a group of people. Our culture, Black culture, I think that's harder to define because I think Black culture is American culture. I mean, that's where it was birthed.
Yeah, American culture was derived from Black culture, whatever that is, or however you define it.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think it's a meshing of the African culture
built this.
and
It's gumbo.
British culture.
We built
It's
this.
gumbo.
It's our
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
Gumbo.
It's our country.
That's a good point.
We built this. You said it's a collection of systems.
Values, beliefs, shared.
What goes into the systems?
I think it's just about the way that we think. And I think that's the difficult part in defining Black culture.
Yeah, because it's so diversified, right?
Yeah.
Like, just take the country, for example. We have East Coast,
Yeah.
West Coast, Midwest, down South. Those are all different cultures.
Yep.
So you can't just say Black culture because it's so many different cultures within the actual Black culture.
Yeah. Like you can see somebody from Chicago, and because I also think like even where it is, it depends on if it's like the ghetto or like a poor area versus a more affluent area, because I think even the dialects and the way that they talk change. Like if you go down to New Orleans, there's parts of New Orleans where people are going to talk a very distinct way, and then you can find people that don't talk as country, if you will. They don't have as much of a twang. You can see people in Chicago that, you know, are from the inner city, and they'll have a full conversation, and people that aren't from there will have no clue. about
So
what they're
is
saying.
it safer to say that Black Americans or American descendants of slaves do not have a culture? We have cultures.
I think we do have a culture. I think it's hard for us to be married to it because it started with slavery. Because we can't pinpoint. I'm sure it was before that, and I'm sure some customs that we still do today, we don't even know that they're from Africa, right? So we can't identify them from
Twerking is
somewhere
from
before. All of it.
Well, yeah.
Talk about twerking.
So are there things that we as a collective do, no matter where we're from then? Wouldn't that be more of like our culture as Black people? Like you were saying twerking, like as a joke, but seriously, like if that kind of dancing originated from Africa, then, you know what I mean, whether you're on the East Coast or West Coast, we all still got that rhythm.
So what if you? So what is? Let's pick one. Let's start with one thing. That no matter where in this country you're from, if you are Black, it is something we uniquely grasp. What, like, can we think of one? This is the Jeopardy song.
Wait. While we're thinking, we want to welcome everybody to another episode of 1320 Stuff. I know we just started talking. We didn't even do our usual intro, but it's all good. As you can probably tell, we're talking about culture appropriation today. And so if you don't know, I'm RJ.
I'm Lindsay.
Y'all know him. And we got our girls
I'm Cece.
Cece back with us. And
CC Peniston.
so jumping back into the topic, the question was,
What is one? I mean, if it's a collection of systems and those systems are based on our beliefs, our feelings, our experiences, what is one thing that no matter where a person that is Black originates from in America, that we all share. Chicago folks is different, New Orleans folks is different, Florida folks is different, New York folks is different. And, all these accents change. What's one thing? Is there one thing? Jeopardy music.
I don't know. I think that we go through phases of sharing one thing. Something becomes popular among Black Americans, and we all kind of do it. Our clothes, hairstyles, that sort of thing, self-expression in that way. I think that we can share that at a time. If somebody from St. Louis becomes really popular and they do something that is particular to there, we all end up sharing it because we watch it and we identify with that person simply because they look like us.
So, but then you talk about cultural appropriation, we could technically be appropriating from ourselves as well. Chicago Blacks taking something from the New Orleans Blacks. And I guess I'm asking this because when people talk about cultural appropriation, they talk about, and you think about people like the Kardashians and all that, they always kind of come up.
Yeah.
Who are, for the sake of argument, who's Kim and them stealing from?
Well, now, I think that the idea about cultural appropriation, it has a negative connotation, and it normally has to do when a dominant race or culture steals from a less dominant culture. So I don't think that somebody from Chicago wearing Timbs because that's something that they saw in New York is cultural appropriation. I think that it specifically has to do with when there are situations where somebody that is white wears big hoop earrings and braids to the back, and it's looked at as beautiful or like trendy or new or fresh when Black women have been doing that forever.
So for the sake of conversation and kind of definition, it is a dominant group taking an idea, a behavior, something from a minority group and then redefining.
But that's something that has some sort of significant meaning to it, to that population of folk. So prime example, they go to these galas and they'll put on a kimono, or is that how you say that? But in the Chinese or Asian culture, that means something to them. It's significant, but we can take it and make it a fashion statement, not really respecting the significance behind it.
So it's redefined when it's taken. So what they say, misappropriation.
Yes, exactly. And the definition is an adoption of an element or elements of one culture by members of another. So that's the base definition. However, this can be controversial when members of a dominant culture appropriate from disadvantaged minority cultures. And that's what we are talking about when we talk about the idea of cultural appropriation. It's when the dominant culture is now taking, stealing, or monetizing something from a disadvantaged group that has been doing this and has very likely been shunned because of this very thing that now they're getting paid for.
How does that impact the disadvantaged culture?
I think it just it perpetuates us not feeling seen or being, important. We create something. And this has been happening to Black people since America started. We create something, we come up with something, and it's overlooked, and then a different culture takes it, and now all of a sudden it's a thing.
And they're making money from it and trying to claim
but
it.
See, it says to me, it ain't overlooked. It says, you watch me.
Oh, for sure.
And you appreciate what I do.
Yeah, but we don't get to call it appreciation.
It's not
when you're monetizing it and I can't get a job because of it.
Right. It'd be different if I'm taking her hairstyle, but I'm going to say, okay, I got it from her. This is what inspired me to do it. But most of the time they're just like, oh yeah, this is what we invented.
So those that argue that they're just appreciating that it's the imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Imitation's different.
I think it could, and I think if we want to, I think people very well could say, like Kim Kardashian wearing braids to the back, she really could say like, oh, I think those are cute and I want to wear them. I think that it's not her doing it alone that's the problem. I think the media plays a huge role in it because when she wears them, then here come the headlines and the magazines or on the articles that are like, Kim Kardashian
it's
does a
the Kim
new
has a new
style,
style.
and a fresh,
Yeah.
you know, adds a fresh whatever to the runway when all of these white people from Gucci
Right.
wearing fake afros or something like that. So it's like, it's not them alone. And it could very well be an innocent, I appreciate this part of your culture, but it's the system, the media, the way that they talk about it, that it feels like it's stolen from us, and now these other people are making it
I
popular.
think it's also they try to be ignorant about it too, though. You know what I mean?
Who?
Like people, cultural appropriators, like they take it and they're like, "Oh, I've never seen. I don't know where I got it from. I don't know why these people are upset." Like
It's the
for
plain
like
dumb.
Kim, for example, like you have enough black people around you to know that if all of these people are upset and they're giving you, you know what I mean, the credit for it, why not say, "Oh no, I got it from my homegirl or my best friend who's black," you know what I mean, the twin girl, I forgot her name. But you know, I feel like there's a responsibility you have to actually speak on it.